Dude, he's always on the wrong side of everything, especially the nanny. He should probably be in jail with the way he treats his nannies and shit. Homie should probably be in prison. But look at this shit, though.
And I was at the bottom of my class. I started doing heroin. I went to the top of my class. Suddenly I could sit still and I could read. And I was...
Dude, he's like, heroin took him to the top of his class, bro. Dude, what the fuck is he talking about? Dude, he was at the bottom of his class. He started doing heroin and he went to the top of his class. Okay. Well, maybe we should put that in the schools, right? Instead of the Bible, let's get him some heroin. Oh, shit, bro. This is RFK Jr. Now, his first order of business to look at the threat posed by SSRIs. Now, don't get me wrong here. I personally am not really an SSRI guy, and there's no doubt that sometimes they may be overprescribed, that people, if they're, they have maybe a routine depression and they might get prescribed them. But at the end of the day, here's what I do know. There are people with crippling anxiety and depression. Crippling. And SSRIs are a godsend for those people. And so they're incredibly useful. Now, at the end of the day, if you don't like them, don't take them. Nobody has to take them. They're not being forced on anyone. Now, my thing is me personally, I'm for options. I am for the idea that SSRIs are totally fine if you want to take them. But I would also like to see government-funded psilocybin and MDMA facility centers with trained therapists and facilitators and government-funded EMDR. Like, in addition to SSRIs, let's also have government-funded options in the mental health variety. So if you have crippling depression and you want to take SSRIs, great. If you don't have crippling depression, you don't want to take SSRIs, but you want to do MDMA therapy, you want to do EMDR, great. You should have access. What I don't like is that SSRIs are the only option covered by insurance, and there's all these other options for people that maybe don't have crippling shit or don't want to go down that route. So I'm not for removing SSRIs. I am much more about let's expand our options. And yes, ketamine is another one that is good too. Like all of those, MDMA, ketamine, psilocybin, those, and EMDR, and regular talk therapy, all of that should be funded by the government. Let's government fund this shit. Let's tax these fucking wealthy people, because we should always have more options, not less. What I don't like about the RFK Jr. push is the fact that it's like the blame game. They want to like hyper target one thing, and they want to blame SSRIs. Oh, harmful SSRIs. But like, no, we don't have enough options. The same treatment does not work for everyone. We need options. So the problem is not that SSRIs are bad and need to go away. The problem is when your only option is SSRIs, you have a bunch of people that are going to take SSRIs that would be better off with ketamine, MDMA, EMDR, acupuncture, some other form of therapy, psilocybin, etc. And the fact of the matter is we don't have enough options to treat a wide range of people. I mean, it's the same shit, though, that always gets done where they try to conform us into these little boxes. They do the same shit with our sexuality. Like, you have to be straight. You've got to be a man or woman. It's like, who fucking cares? There's 1,000 different colors of sexuality and gender and sexual proclivities and preferences. And this idea that we all have to behave in like one or two boxes is stupid. You know, this is one of the things that hampers schools. Schools are hampered by trying to teach kids with one trajectory. All kids don't learn the same. You have like 40 students in a class. You probably have 25 different ways that people learn. Now, ideally, what hopefully will happen is I'm hoping that AI starts entering the schools and starts becoming like AI teaching assistants to help figure out how these kids learn, and have AI chatbots that will make it interesting for kids to interact and answer all their questions and help them expand their learning. I feel like AI could be really useful in that. It's going to help them by being a patient, question answering ticket to that kid exploring their own curiosity in a very deep way and finding customized ways for kids to learn, because kids learn differently. But him targeting the SSRIs is, I feel like it's problematic. I really do, because again, it comes down to this conflict of worldviews that we're having. I mean, that's really what it is, where one worldview on the left side is about progress. Let's try new things. Let's have more options. Increase the number of options. Increase the amount of diversity. Increase the amount of inclusion. Increase the amount of availability of the American dream to as many people as possible. And the other side wants to restrict. Let's get rid of things. Let's get rid of abortion. Let's get rid of paths for women. Let's put them right into motherhood. Let's get rid of the diversity. Let's get rid of the inclusion. Let's get rid of the multiple genders. They just want to limit us. Let's get us all back to the book from 2,000 years ago that nobody gives a fucking shit about, right? Not even the people who are Christians. They don't even care about the fucking Bible. It's obvious that most of them have never read it. They sure as hell don't live like Jesus in any way, shape, or form. But look at this about RFK Jr. So RFK Jr. becomes HHS secretary, and he applauds the dismantling of USAID, saying it's a sinister propagator of totalitarianism and war across the globe. But dude, USAID was started by JFK, dude. How crazy is that? USAID was started by JFK, who is without a doubt one of the great presidents of our time. And of course, Kennedy's here to destroy this shit. But again, you ready? Here's my take on USAID. Elon Musk, he doesn't have the constitutional ability to end any program that's been voted by Congress. But again, all of the people that are posting shit about these things out of context, I think that they should have those researchers come out and talk about those programs. They should be talking about those programs so you can see what they're about. Because one thing I do know is that scientific research is helpful to society. Everything we have right now that benefits us, the reason why people are living to be 90 instead of dying at 40 is because of scientific research. And so all these Christian weirdos that are sitting here wanting to like override science, it's like, you, man, go to Mars, okay? Go to Mars, get on a fucking rocket, strap yourself to Elon's gonads, dude, and hit the trail, buddies. Let's go. So the irony of this, RFK Jr., the idea about cleaner foods and healthier foods is certainly not a bad idea. It's not. Michelle Obama tried to do this and she got vilified. She got called a communist. She got called a dictator. Remember all that shit? But here's the problem. Here's the rub. Is I don't believe for a minute RFK Jr. is actually going to carry that out, because in order to improve our food supply, that would require a host of regulations on businesses. Food producing businesses would have to adhere to new rules about pesticides, about organic growth, about packaging, about ingredients. And there would have to be a government agency that was very well staffed that would make sure all those businesses are now living up to those federal standards. But dude, we know for a fact that Trump is not going to do that. We know that that's never going to happen. So what's really going to happen is the question we all have. What's he really going to do? Because he says he's going to go and get these dyes and get this shit out and make us have a healthier food supply. But we know that Trump will not create a government agency that harasses businesses and forces them to adhere to a whole bunch of new regulations. That would never fly under a Trump administration. Would that fly under a left-wing administration? Absolutely. You could absolutely have a left-wing administration that does that. But Trump will not do that. So in the absence of that, what is he actually going to do? Because we have all these MAHA people running around acting like RFK Jr. is going to increase the health of our food supply. But how's he going to do it? Is he going to wiggle his nose like Bewitched and everything's just going to go poof? I mean, no, it's not. What is he really going to do? None of that is going to happen. There's going to be no enforcement agency to protect our food supply. In all likelihood, he's going to try to do something destructive and harmful that is in line with one of his crackpot theories. He's got some crackpot fucking schemes. So he wants to create wellness farms.
And I'm going to create these wellness farms where they can go to get off of illegal drugs, off of opiates, but also legal drugs, off of psychiatric drugs if they want to get off of SSRIs, to get off of benzos, to get off of Adderall, and to spend time, as much time as they need, 3 or 4 years if they need it, to learn to get reparented. I'm going to move it off Schedule 1, and I'm going to start collecting taxes on it. That's going to bring in $8.5 billion in revenue. I'm going to dedicate that revenue to creating wellness farms, drug rehabilitation farms in rural areas all over this country.
Here's the thing, dude, to being able to get off drugs and shit, access to rehabilitation programs, psychedelic therapy and shit to get off drugs. Super for it. But what I don't understand is why everything about the right wing now is about like a farm or a camp. You notice how everything about the right wing is to sequester people into these work environments, like some sort of forced work environment. And I'm not really fond of having all of our wellness things be some type of prison camp, right? You're going to go to conversion camp if you're gay or trans. If you have a drug issue, you go to the wellness camp. If you're an immigrant, you go to the detention camp. Dude, this shit is getting a little weird.
Organic food, high quality food, because a lot of the behavioral issues are food related. A lot of the illnesses are food related.
And no, a lot of behavior issues are not food related. That is fundamentally wrong. That is fundamentally wrong. Thinking that people who eat organic food aren't dealing with depression is fucking bullshit, bro. Food, does it have an effect on us? Absolutely. But is it something that is the primary effect on us? No, man. The primary effect on human beings in American culture is we are too alone, bro. We are alone, and everybody is staring up this giant uphill battle just to fucking survive. The stress of trying to keep your head above water, right? Most everybody's prime activity is the stressful planning of just trying to keep themselves from sinking and falling off the cliff. People are stressed out. They're working too hard and too long for too little money. They don't get to relax. They don't get to find joy. They don't get help for their health or their mental health issues. They don't feel a sense of caring or nurturing or like they're taken care of. Everybody feels like everybody's out to get them, and like you have to fucking pound your neighbor into the ground to prevent from losing. We are literally, scrambling. We're individualized and constantly attacked systemically of like, you're never going to get ahead. And there's like 10% of the population have a decent life. And the other 90% of the people are trying to fight each other to hopefully get anywhere close to that 10%. It's stressful. We already live in like a Hunger Games world where only a tiny portion of the population get this good life, and some of them is so lavish, and then the rest of us are literally fighting each other to not die. And sure, when you're living like that, your life sucks. You're going to be stressed. You're not going to be doing your best work. You're not going to be presenting your best self. I mean, it's ridiculous when you are literally like busting your ass just to have a roof over your head. And then you have assholes that are wealthy that are like sitting there telling you you should be ashamed of yourself for getting a Starbucks. That's why you're not rich. And it's like, fuck you, bro. The people they're lecturing are the ones that are working less hard than the people being lectured. What is up, guys? Thank you so much for watching. You like the video, you want to support independent resistance media, you know what to do. Drop that sub, hit the like button, and please share it. And we do love our members, so if you want to become a member, it's another really great way to support. Thanks again for everything, guys. I'll see you next time. Let's go.